Well, hi there, guys. Welcome back to yet another episode here on Strictly Flying. I hope you're all doing fantastic. I am currently here in the city of Stavanger in Norway. However, on today's episode, we're gonna head back to Brazil. And on today's episode, we're going to be flying on the 737 MAX. We're going to be doing a domestic flight with the domestic Brazilian carrier GOL. Now, I've flown on the MAX on a previous episode, and if you missed that, you can watch that episode. I'm going to leave a card right up here. Just as a reminder as well, if you don't want to listen to me talking, if you want to skip right ahead of this intro here, there are timestamps down below that you can skip straight to the parts that you like. Now, before I kick off this video, I just want to say a few words as of why it's been relatively quiet on my channel, and also the videos I'm posting up. Actually, this flight here was taken back a couple of months ago, and all the videos there are kind of delayed. And the reason for that is I haven't been traveling so much. I actually finally caught the coronavirus. I was infected with the COVID-19, and it was pretty bad. I was actually hospitalized for around 6 days, and in a public hospital in Brazil. Now, this episode, of course, I'm not going to be talking about that. It's just an explanation of why it's been relatively quiet on my channel these last few days. However, I do have quite a bit of flights lined up that I'm going to post online in a relatively short time. So I'm hoping after this episode that, I'm going to be posting more frequently again. My situation hasn't changed as with the pandemic. I'm commuting between, Norway and Brazil. And of course, like I've previously mentioned in my other videos as well, I would love to get a little bit more variety, a little bit more different flights, It's gradually starting to open up again. However, there is a lot of hassle, with testing, with your documentation and everything, and the borders are somewhat still closed or restricted in that manner. So most of my videos are still between Norway and Brazil. However, I'm getting good feedbacks from you guys, and I really do appreciate that. It's always nice when you guys leave a nice comment in the comment section, and I always love good feedback. Anyways, let's kick off this video here. We're going to start in the city of Fortaleza. It's a domestic flight down south to São Paulo with the 737 MAX, and the flying time is around 3.5 hours. So enjoy the video, guys, and as always, if you like my content, if you like my videos, hit the like button, and if you haven't subscribed already, please consider subscribing. It really helps me out, and we're already at 850 subscribers. Thank you very much to all of you, and the support has been amazing so far. So thank you, guys, and I hope you enjoy the video.
Obrigado. Fala português, né, André?
Oi?
Fala português, né?
Só falo. So if you're curious about why I was asked if I speak the local language Portuguese, the reason for that is on this flight I've paid a little bit extra just to sit by the emergency exit row, and this is obviously for a little bit more leg space. And the reason he asked me if I did understand Portuguese, it has to do with safety, basically. As the camp crew, if there is an emergency, all communications will be done in Portuguese, and of course They want anyone sitting by the emergency row to understand the commands of the cabin crew. And that is one of the requirements. It's actually on their website as well as a requirement for sitting along the emergency exit row, that you do understand and speak Portuguese relatively fluently. So that is the explanation for that. And here you see we're coming in the cabin, and I am heading down to the my designated seat, which is 16F. So welcome aboard GOL Airlines, and welcome aboard the 737 MAX. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the airline. Now, GOL Airlines is Brazil's largest domestic airline with roughly 40% of the market share. It is also one of the world's biggest operators of the 737 MAX. And after the 737 MAX was announced, GOL started to make huge plans to enter the international market. Now, it's important to note that GOL's fleet consists exclusively of Boeing 737 aircrafts. It does not operate any other type of aircraft. And for years, if you wanted to fly internationally out of Brazil, you would most likely have to pass through one of the two major airports in Brazil, one being Galeão in Rio de Janeiro and the other Guarulhos in São Paulo. However, GOL's strategy was to try and open up the international market for all of the major cities around Brazil. And to make this possible, it would need an aircraft that obviously could fly the distance and that was small enough to land at all of the airports available around the country. And obviously, the 737 MAX fit the bill and was the perfect aircraft to achieve this. Now, probably all of you already know the story behind the groundings of the 737 MAX, which lasted for years, which was a result of the two fatal accidents, one of the Indonesian Lion Air and the other Ethiopian Airlines. And of course, the groundings of this aircraft was just a huge disaster for all airlines operating the 737 MAX. But of course, GOL Airlines was also one airline that was hit exceptionally hard. Now, GOL was already flying the 737 MAX and had already launched several of its routes to the US when the 737 MAX was ultimately grounded worldwide. Now, one of these routes was actually leaving right here from the city of Fortaleza to Miami and to Orlando in Florida. Now, with the 737 MAX grounded, instead of just canceling all of its flights and refunding its passengers, it tried for a while to utilize one of its older 737 aircrafts. However, of course, they did not have the range as the MAX did, and what actually happened, it had to make a pit stop in Punta Cana in the Dominican Republic before continuing on to the US. And of course, after a while, this wasn't really profitable for GOL Airlines, and they ultimately canceled their flights to the US. Today, the 737 MAX is back up in the sky. However, we all know we are facing a totally different problem right now. We are in the midst of a global pandemic that has left us with closed borders and travel restrictions like we've never seen before. So I'm guessing this is just a string of bad luck, not only for GOL Airlines, but for all airlines utilizing the 737 MAX, and especially for those who have plans to utilize this aircraft on these point-to-point routes internationally. However, we are nearing the end of the pandemic, and I'm pretty sure that in the future we will see a lot more of these types of routes opening up, and especially from GOL Airlines. I'm really excited to see what they're gonna have in store as soon as things start to open up again. But anyways, that was my little introduction of GOL Airlines. I'm gonna keep quiet now, and I'm gonna let you enjoy the takeoff of this spectacular aircraft.
We are preparing for takeoff. Please make sure your seat back and tray tables are in their full upright position. Pay attention to the fasten seatbelt signs. You can only open the overhead bins when this warning light is off. Smoking is not allowed on board, and tampering with or disabling the smoke detectors in the lavatories is prohibited. Please read the card with the safety instructions located in the pocket in front of you. In an emergency landing, stay in one of the positions indicated on this card. In an emergency evacuation, leave all carry-on behind. We wish you all a great flight.
So after 3 hours of flying, we finally started our descent into the city of São Paulo. I showed you some footage of the interior of the aircraft, and it's all modern, it's all clean. Unfortunately, all of these new aircraft, this new technology, the comfort hasn't really changed all that much. I mean, obviously, I got a ton of leg space since I'm sitting by the emergency exit. However, on previous flights with GOL Airlines, I've been sitting in a standard seat as well, and the comfort isn't really all that great. You know, I feel like even as they deliver all of this new technology, these new aircrafts, you know, the airlines, they constantly think of profit. They constantly just make the seats, you know, ever so much thinner, ever so much lighter, and unfortunately that goes on the cost of comfort. Now, for a 3-hour flight, 3.5-hour flight, it's, you know, it's okay, it's doable, you know, it's fine. However, I wouldn't want to be flying with GOL Airlines on their standard, you know, economy class up to the US. That would be just a little bit too much for me. But anyways, on this domestic flight, it's all fine. As you can see, there were some USB ports. There's also a power outlet underneath these seats. They all work, you know, they're fine. You can charge your appliances, you know, your iPhone, your tablet, whatever. They all work, and just, you know, that's all fine. Another note is on the domestic flights with GOL Airlines, there's absolutely no service whatsoever. On previous flights, you know, before the pandemic, they actually had a meal service. You had to pay for it, you know, but you could buy some beer, you could buy some snacks or whatever you like. However, nowadays, during the pandemic, there is absolutely no service. So just keep that in mind if you are planning to fly with GOL Airlines in the near future. You know, buy some snacks, buy some chips, buy some water or whatever, because you won't get anything during the flight. Nothing will be available to you. Anyways, I'm gonna leave you with this extraordinary footage of one of the biggest cities in the world, Sao Paulo, with just under 20 million inhabitants. The approach is absolutely spectacular. It's I never get tired of this approach. So just enjoy the landing, guys. So here we are. Welcome to the city of São Paulo. Once again, thank you very much for joining me on yet another flight here on Strictly Flying. As always, if you do enjoy my content, especially this video, please, a thumbs up would be fantastic. And also, if you haven't already done so, always consider subscribing to my channel for more content like this in the future. With that, I'm gonna say goodbye for now. Please guys, be safe. The pandemic ain't over yet. We're very close. Please guys, do your part, stay safe, keep your distance, all of that stuff, and we'll get through this together. Until next time guys, thank you very much. Be safe. Bye bye. Ciao.